The day I stopped chasing money was the day my financial life finally began to change. It sounds backwards, but the harder I chased money, the further financial freedom seemed to get. For years, we all buy into this deeply held belief that the answer to every single problem is simple. Just make more money. We're taught that if you earn more, you'll finally relax. You'll finally feel successful. You'll finally have enough. But up until that realization hit, every time income increased, lifestyle just increased even faster to swallow it whole. The natural, knee-jerk response to financial stress is usually to work longer hours, obsess over every single dollar, and try to literally out-earn your own spending. But a really strange thing happens on that treadmill. As the income goes up, the satisfaction actually goes down. You realize that working harder and earning more isn't making you wealthier, it's simply making you more expensive.
The endless rat race. Chasing comparison versus chasing wealth.
Shift 1, chasing income versus building wealth. This is the trap most people never see. Society beats this very specific rhythm into our heads, right? Earn more, spend better, repeat. We think we're out there chasing wealth, but most people are actually just running an endless race of comparison. You can find folks earning $50,000 a year who sleep incredibly peacefully at night, and then you'll find people earning $500,000 a year who are literally suffocating in constant financial anxiety. Because here's the thing, increasing your income alone rarely leads to freedom if your spending simply rises to match it. Just notice the difference here. Chasing income simply buys status, while building wealth buys freedom. Income is really just the cash flow you use to pay for lifestyle inflation. Wealth, on the other hand, is what actually stays in your life. The person earning $500,000 but spending every cent on luxury cars and a massive mortgage is just buying status, and they are completely trapped by it. The person earning a fraction of that but who is diligently saving and investing, they're building wealth, and by doing so, they are buying freedom. But realizing this difference is kind of just half the battle. To truly escape the trap, we have to look closely at what our money is actually doing out in the real world.
Which brings us to shift 2, buying status versus buying freedom, and the hidden cost of everyday purchases.
Okay, there is a slightly uncomfortable truth about human nature. We desperately want people to think we're successful. So we buy the nice watch, the flashy car, the expensive clothes. But one day you realize something pretty sobering. Most people aren't even paying attention. Everyone is entirely too busy worrying about their own lives. So we trade our long-term freedom, spending thousands of dollars just to buy a few fleeting seconds of attention from strangers who aren't even looking at us. That isn't wealth, it's insecurity. To break this cycle, you have to replace the desire for status with one pivotal question. What do I actually need? Asking this immediately cuts through the noise. It reveals that every unnecessary upgrade is just a liability, quietly stealing your future. To really visualize this, let's look at a $500 purchase. When you see a $500 item sitting on a shelf, society trains you to measure its cost by the dollars on the price tag. But every single dollar you spend had to be earned first. So if something costs $500, it doesn't just cost $500. It costs the irreplaceable, completely unrecoverable hours of your actual life that were required to earn that money. When you stop measuring purchases by dollars and start measuring them by your life energy, your entire perspective just fundamentally shifts. Because the ultimate financial lie is ignoring opportunity cost. The true hidden cost of any purchase is the price tag plus the future investment returns you just gave up forever. Every single dollar you spend on a status symbol today is a dollar that can no longer compound for you over the next 20 years. Real wealth actually looks surprisingly ordinary a lot of the time because wealthy people deeply understand this hidden cost. They know that to build real security, you absolutely have to stop giving away your future returns. And understanding this creates a natural curiosity about what we should be doing instead, which leads directly to a shift that will completely change how you view your money. Shift 3, let your money work. Working for money versus money working for you. This requires replacing the exhausting, toxic habit of endless consumption with the incredibly empowering habit of owning productive assets. We're talking about stocks, index funds, businesses, and even your own knowledge and skills. These are the assets that actually do the heavy lifting for you. Instead of asking what your money can buy you today, you start asking what your money can earn for you over the next 2 decades. When you buy these assets, it's exactly like hiring a team of tireless employees that work for you around the clock. It shifts the burden away from your own daily labor and places it squarely onto the brilliant mechanism of long-term compounding. Because when money is invested consistently, it becomes incredibly productive. It builds a powerful engine that eventually produces its very own income. It doesn't need to sleep, it doesn't take vacations, and it never gets tired. It just quietly works in the background, day after day after day, multiplying your initial effort through simple patience and discipline. Now contrast this sharply with money that you spend. Once cash is dropped on looking successful, on those fleeting upgrades and momentary status symbols, it becomes history. It stops working for you permanently. Your financial engine loses its fuel. This stark contrast between invested money and spent money is literally the defining line between those who stay trapped in the rat race and those who eventually buy back their own lives.
The core philosophy, the illiterate investor lesson. This entire journey builds up to a core philosophy that will completely rewire your relationship with daily labor. Ready? Income pays for today. Assets pay for tomorrow. I want you to just think about that for a moment. Your paycheck, the money you trade your immediate active hours for, feeds you this month. But your investments, your assets, those are what will eventually give you your time back for decades to come. One requires your active daily grind. The other is what actually buys your freedom. So, what does real wealth buy? Let's talk about the true meaning of financial independence. When you stop obsessing over getting rich, you ironically become so much better with your money because you realize the goal was never to be the richest person in the room. The goal is building a life of quiet background wealth. Real wealth buys time. Someday, a bank account will not remember the luxury car you bought, but your family will absolutely remember the time you spent with them. Wealth gives you the option to be present, to care for aging parents, and to spend irreplaceable moments with the people you love. Second, it buys peace. I'm talking about the ability to sleep soundly at night without that constant suffocating weight of financial anxiety. It permanently removes you from the exhausting rat race of comparison, where the finish line just keeps moving further away. It also buys freedom. Money isn't valuable for the material objects it secures. It's valuable for the things you no longer have to tolerate. It gives you the incredible ability to just say no, the freedom to walk away from a toxic job or to refuse forced obligations that just drain your energy. And ultimately, it buys purpose. True wealth means living life entirely on your own terms. It means your money is quietly humming in the background, handling the mechanics of your survival, while you get to focus on the people, the passions, and the moments that truly matter. Once you finally stop chasing money, you give it a chance to start working for you. What was the moment that changed the way you think about money? Let me know in the comments below.